Okay, so today I'm going to go over how to build business cards in using Adobe Illustrator. I have Illustrator CS4, that's what I'm going to use. If you don't have the same version, that's fine. A lot of the principles still go over. Even though I use some of CS4's features, you can still pretty much make it work. So, in my opinion, one of the most important first starts to building a business card is understanding the finished product instead of just picking a standard size like a 3.5 by 2. Find out where you're going to print your cards and what their standards are. For example, a company I really like is called .print.com. They do various different printing, including business cards, and if you look, they provide templates. There you go. Download templates for standard size business cards, and that's what I'm going to build my my image off of. Okay. So I'm actually just going to take this image. I'm going to make a new print file. Now, sorry, I need to get the size here. Now, here's one thing I do different. Instead of basing it off the final size, 3.5 by 2, I make my artboard the size with bleeds, because that's what they want you to send them. And they're the ones that cut it off. So 3.6 by 2.1. So again, we have all these settings here. We want it to be 3.6 by 2.1. Right, so here's this. I'm going to copy and paste this into the spot here. You can use automatic alignment like this. See, so now this is what you're going to send them. The cards are going to be cut off on this red line, and your blue line is your safe zone. So I use Control R, brings up the rulers. I will put up some guides to help me remember where everything is. And it's important to remember that last bit on the sides will get cut off, so it's your bleed. You got to keep that in mind when you're designing. Okay, and then now I'll just get rid of this guy. Okay, so you have your blank board. We'll just pull out another one of these guys for the back side. I'm holding Alt to copy it there. And then I'm going to post this again just so I can put my bleeds on there correctly. So this will be the back. And the reason I use the artboards like this is in the end, once you're done, it makes it just a cinch to export the files to send to the printer. So that's kind of the goal. I'm holding Alt, and colon gets rid of, makes the guides invisible. Alt, colon again, brings it back up. This is, of course, on a PC. Always good to save. Business card AI file. Okay. Okay, so now I'm all set up with my bleeds and everything. Remember, this is where it's cut, this is bleeding out, and inside of this is your safe zone for text, according to their information. So I keep, close this. I keep some resources available for my own, my own use, just to make this go a little faster. I design postcards that kind of use this. So the principles I like to keep in mind for design is just to keep it simple. Not a lot of clutter. I mean, especially on business cards, it's easy to get a little too zoomed in, so to speak, and not realize that, hey, there's only so much space. So it's good just to not fill it up with too much junk. That tends to be a problem with a lot of people. And then again, do that center thing here. You can use this. This is your align bar. Very useful for different things. Just going to pull this out. So you see this is... Whoops, I forgot to ungroup it. So Control Shift G can ungroup your image there. I'm holding Alt and it stretches in both directions. There you go. So now you see everything's within this safe zone. Real simple on the front of the card. This is what I want to be glossy. The back side's going to be a flat. So again, I don't want to add a bunch of junk on this side, and I'll add some contact info on the back. Let's see here. I'm thinking I want to add this. Sorry. This little guy here on the back, the style, anyways. Get rid of that. So you see now the blue here probably would get cut off a little bit, so I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Grab the right one there. Try to eye it, make it the same, you know. So one thing, again, like I don't have a business office. I just work out of my house more or less, so I'm not gonna go and put an address on there, you know. Just try to save as much space as you can. There's no reason to completely load down your design with tons and tons of text. It'll come and it'll come in the mail. It'll be a lot smaller than you expected, and people will just not want to read it. So I'm holding Shift to do this, by the way. If you hold Shift, if you hold Alt while you're stretching things, you get kind of an idea of, you know, what they do. I already got my logo on there. Don't want my address. Definitely want my definitely want my phone number. And you know, the other thing I'm going to put on there is called a QR code. One of the things I like about that is the fact that people with smartphones, not that everybody can do this, but people with smartphones can use their image and immediately take your business card and just fill out your contact information in the phone pretty much automatically. So I'm going to get the QR code since it's bigger.
Hey, you, listening to music on Spotify? Are you tired of men's clothing that just doesn't look good or fit right? Bonobos has a stylish answer to your wardrobe worries. Click on the bonobos.com image in your Spotify player and see for yourself. Bonobos specializes in men's pants that make you look good and feel great. They also have a huge selection of shirts, accessories, and shoes. Use code SPOTIFY this week for 20% off your first order. Look your best now with Bonobos.
So contact details, the one I like here. Okay. Okay, well anyways, I'm going to go to File and Place my QR code here. Just download it to the desktop. You want this to be as big as possible because it's fairly hard to read the smaller it is. You have to have a higher megapixel camera if you want to read it. So I'm adding oh, there we go. I want to add a square box here just so it can be readable. Of course, I'll send this out to the edge and make sure you want your bleeds to... Okay, so Control and the left bracket button sends this down a layer. That's what I want to do there. So, with the space I have left, let's see. I'm going to add a... these bold here, left, centered. Make sure to stay inside your safe zone. And yeah, I don't particularly like that, but anyways, let's see here. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit. I don't want to use a lot of time on this video on design just because, you know, that's more or less up to you. Gonna try a real quick color change here. This guy in here. Well, anyways, like I said, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the design just because that's up to you. I could spend all day on this, especially since they're my own cards. Just make sure everything you want is inside of your safe zone. The more inside, the better. So, and then make sure the art goes completely outside of the bleeds because you don't want a big white gap or something where you didn't let it flow. So then I'm just going to get rid of the extra chunk that I don't need. Give it a save. Now here's where the magic comes in. You can go to File, and depending on what your company wants, like Gutprint loves TIFFs. They're fine. Also, they take, you know, EPSs. This would be good as an EPS. Various different things you can do, but I'm just going to go ahead and go to Export. Also JPEGs are fine. Use artboard, all. So when I go to export this, it's going to save two files, the front and the back, at the size that Gutprint wants. And when I upload them, it's just going to fit right in. Everything's going to be good, and they should be good to send. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. CMYK color needs to be. Okay, big fail right here. At least Gutprint wants at least 350, and that's the beauty of designing in Illustrator. You can actually choose what DPI it outputs at, or if you send them a vector, it doesn't even matter. But if it would have been 75 or 72, it would not work. So make sure you send high resolution if you're going to do a JPEG or a bitmap image. But otherwise, save it out and you should have your files ready to send to the printer. Alright, thanks.